All right, today we're going to listen to a track by Bill Callahan from his latest album, My Days of 58. And the title of this track is Computer.
I use my computer to pass the time. Search for whatever crosses my mind. It really brings out the worst in me. I read things I shouldn't read. I've seen things no man should ever see.
A lot of weird stuff going on in this track.
Whatever was the original dream, this machine's become the village guillotine. And free speech is almost over. Now I'll sit and listen. Anyone talk, no matter their views, no matter their walk.
I think that's the chorus right there.
Closer to knowing what it all means. Hey, human, it's kind of funny, kind of sad, how easily we take the question, are you human? Are you human? Are you human? Are you human?
Hearing that digital sound kind of reminds me of a computer.
Well, I'm not a robot, and I never will be. I am not a robot, and I never will be. Sing it, sing it, sing it with me. I am not a robot, and I never will be. I am not a robot, and I never will be. Auto-tune, I don't wanna hear it. That's just prepping us to be satisfied being sung to by something without a spirit. Until the human voice sounds so flawed and raw that we just quit it. Just because something is doesn't mean it should be.
All right. There's a lot to unpack in these lyrics, I think. And I'll just say, I'm not new to Bill Callahan's music. Actually, the last concert I went to was Bill Callahan at the Miracle Theater in DC just before the pandemic. And that was it. That was the last show I went to see. And because I hate to say it, but I kind of can't afford to go to shows. And because I moved to a place where nobody comes around where I live. If I do go to a show, I'm gonna have to travel, is what I'm saying. So, but it's a whole nother topic. Let's go ahead and look at songwriting composition. So as I was saying, there's a lot of weird sounds in this track. It's almost kind of sounds kind of like avant-garde music in a way, because you just got this first of all, you have this weird acoustic going on to start. I don't know what chord that is, but it just sounds off. It sounds off to me a little bit. Like something's off, something's wrong. And I think that's that helps support the lyrics of this song. So you got the acoustic guitar, you got Bill singing, you got this other guitar adding all types of, kind of sound effects. And eventually it does kind of get to a chorus.
Whatever was the original.
And then you got that computer or
this machine's become
electronic sound
guillotine
going on in the other ear, kind of. So it's all kind of spread out. So there is a song structure going on too, and it does kind of build throughout the song to the very end. We have this refrain at the end. It's kind of asserting our humanity in a way.
Auto-tune, I don't wanna hear it. That's just prepping us to be satisfied.
And it's during these parts that the other guitar, the electric guitars, isn't just doing its own thing. It's actually playing along with the acoustic. So it all kind of gels more during these parts, so that it does, as you get towards the end, it sounds a little more like a conventional song. But I don't know, it's a very interesting way of putting a song together, and unconventional way of doing it as well. So I think it adequately, or even, I keep using the word effective, I need a different word, successfully captures the mood that it's going for with the lyrics, that off feeling. And then when you get to the end, it feels more human to me at the very end.
Robot, and I never will.
This sounds kind of like something, if you played it live, I could hear like the audience singing along. We're all asserting our humanity type of thing. So I haven't read any interviews with him lately, so I have no idea what his thoughts are about this. But I'm going to give the songwriting, I'm going to put it in A, because it sounds like it's meant to sound as regards to the lyrics. And I do think lyrics is a part of songwriting, even though I do have it as a separate tier. But, and I will say the lyrics are going to count for more on this song, of course. They have to. But let's look at the vocals a little bit, because it's kind of like, to me it sounds like
search for whatever
almost spoken word here.
Crosses my mind.
He's kind of mixing spoken word
the worst in me
with the singing, and
I read things I shouldn't read. I've seen things no man should ever see.
So it's not until
So maybe I'll come
around here that he's actually
what it all
singing. But this is all, this is his style. This is how he sings.
And I never will be. I am not a robot, and I never will be. auto tune. I don't wanna hear it.
So it's a good example of Bill's a good example of somebody that sings in their range and doesn't try to like strain his voice to do something that he's not. I like his vocals, to be honest, and I've always liked his vocals. If you go way back to his earlier stuff, you can tell he sings a bit higher, but I think this is more his natural range, and I think I have to put his vocals in S because, again, the lyrics are talking about singing with your natural voice, and Bill is singing with his natural voice and speaking with his natural voice. So it's not because he's hitting, super high notes or anything, but singing within himself. And then as far as instrumentation, man, this is really hard to put into a tier because there's so much experimentation going on. But then it comes together for, the more important, I wouldn't say more important, but it comes together for what sounds more like a traditional song. And I think it does so successfully for this track. So, and I do like, just having the guitar separate from this kind of computer sound that's way over here. It's almost like some foreign entity, and the human is more, I think, more in the center of things in this track. So, and that's when it all comes together. So I think it's good instrumentation. I'll put it in A. Production.
I've seen things no man should.
It's very sparse. Got that drums are just not doing a whole lot.
Original. I'll sit and listen. Anyone talk, no matter their views, no matter their walk.
Kind of got that drum. It's just
So maybe I'll come
hitting that
closer
bass,
to knowing what it
bass
all
kick
means.
that's just driving through. I would say minimal
Human
percussion.
is kind of funny,
His voice
kind of sad.
is very
How
clear
easily
and easy to understand. Drums have such a subdued quality,
are you human?
but again, I think that's not unusual for what Bill does.
Are you human?
And it does to me, it sounds like this whole thing could have been recorded all at once with everybody. It's like a live session. Very kind of muted snare. Yeah, so I think it's fine for what it's trying to do. I'm just going to put it in A. And then the lyrics are, to me, the most important element of this track is the lyrics. It has to carry more weight because, again, that's typical of Bill Callahan to have lyrics that carry more weight, and they deserve a little bit more attention. And so let's just look at this. It says, I use my computer to pass the time, search for whatever crosses my mind. It really brings out the worst in me. I read things I shouldn't read. I've read things no man should ever see. Reminds me of being on X or something, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have seen that. Just like, if you just start scrolling on X, you'll start seeing things you probably shouldn't see. And unfortunately, part of that to me is um, the lack of privacy with where everything is being recorded and uploaded onto the internet. If we lose total privacy, we're also losing our freedom at the same time. And that's going to come in later in the lyrics. But let's move on to the next stanza. It says, whatever was the original dream, this machine's become the village guillotine. I really like that line. I really like that line. It's like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like cancel culture type of thing where people can just cancel you via the internet. Yeah, the tribalism of the internet is what I was trying to think of. And like, the piling on that can go on in certain threads on the internet, like Twitter and other sites that I don't even want to mention. And free speech is almost over. He continues, now I'll sit and listen to anyone talk, no matter their views, no matter their walk. So maybe I'll come closer to knowing what it all means. That doesn't always come across on the internet. You can post something and then out of nowhere, some troll wants to start an argument with you because you used the wrong word or something. And what's troubling is that people do that. Like I said, people do it anonymously, or they do it in a way that's not respectful anymore because it's the internet. And some of them would never say such a thing in person. I've always tried to keep my in person and my internet, what I say on the internet, to be matching. So I actually will think like, would I actually say this in person, or am I just doing this because I'm on the internet and I don't have any fear of consequences? So I do check myself um, quite a bit. If you want to have integrity, then I think you should be striving to have your online persona consistent with your who you are when you're not online, rather than. But that's not what people are doing. People are curating their best lives and posting that online. So it's like we never really get get to know that the real person behind all the posting. And anytime I've tried to be real on Facebook, people act shocked, like, "Oh my God, did you hear what he said?" Oh, like I don't have time for that. It's just the village guillotine again. That's kind of what he means. Like, but anyway, let's move on. Hey, human. It's kind of funny, kind of sad how easily we take the question, "Are you human?" It's like we have to remind ourselves that we're human. Well, I'm not a robot, and I never will be. I feel like some people want to be robots. People are too eager about the development of technology to the detriment of our humanity, and thinking that technology is what's going to make us whole. I just think we're putting too much stock into it, and we're doing things that are dismissive of our humanity at the same time. So in the last, as the song comes to a close, he says, "Auto tune. I don't want to hear it." Um, in general, I'd agree. I mean, I'm like Gen X, so I didn't grow up listening to auto tune vocals, and it's hard. It's harder to listen to when you're not used to that, and it does sound kind of like a robot. I might make exception occasionally when it's used in a particular kind of way in a track. But as far as like, yeah, using it from start to finish for a track, I'm not a big fan of. It doesn't sound natural. Uh, so I think there is a difference there that I think I think I have a little bit more nuanced take than have a little more nuanced take than just I don't want to ever hear it because we live in the world of electronics and but in general, yes. If I hear a lot of auto tune, I'm probably not going to want to hear it either. So that's just prepping us to be satisfied by being sung to by something without a spirit. Yeah, I mean, totally. I totally agree. Um, I don't go. I wouldn't want to go to a show to hear somebody singing through a microphone that's gonna give feed something back to me that isn't their actually their voice. Yeah, it's kind of it's a soulless type of sound, and until the human voice sounds so flawed and raw that we just quit it. I feel like with that line that it almost sounds like the human voice has been altered to a point that you know we're completely dismissing our humanity or discarding it. And I think the opposite of that is also true, that a human voice can itself have a flawed and raw nature to it, which is actually what I do want to hear in the human voice. Whereas autotune is overcorrecting and getting rid of any flaw, any kind of resonance or uniqueness to a voice is all just getting edited out. And so when it hits, it's like there's no soul or spirit left. Just because something is doesn't mean it should be. And yes, that's a very good point. Our wisdomless society is very reactionary instead of proactive. We instead of being proactively human, we react to things that are already in existence. And it also just reminds me again of like group mindedness, where suddenly everyone's accepting this new reality, the new normal that really, again, is disregarding our humanity. But again, just because something is doesn't mean it should be. So I think in this case, yeah, just because AI can help with certain things, like maybe it can help with IT problems or something like that, or it doesn't mean we should give our entire lives over and that companies should start getting rid of their employees because AI or because they think AI can replace them. That's exactly that's the example that I think of that's very relevant, is the way that companies have been acting with zero moral backbone. A lot of these corporations just have zero moral conscience and will get rid of their employees at the drop of a hat because of money. Simply because AI exists doesn't mean that it's okay to just get rid of employees. It's not okay to simply disregard our humanity simply because AI exists. And it does bleed into the arts as well. Just because AI can draw a portrait in 5 seconds doesn't mean people should stop drawing and painting. Just because AI can produce music doesn't mean people should stop playing music or stop writing songs and stop playing the guitar because those are human things. So that's what I think that Bill Callahan is saying here is we need to do those things that continue to assert our humanity rather than settling for something that really lacks a moral conscience. I don't know how long this video is going to go. I know this video is going on probably a lot longer than I thought. But I knew these lyrics were going to need some extra commentary on them. And I think the lyrics go in S because we do need, this is exactly the type of song we need. These are the exact type of lyrics we need today. We need something to challenge just what, instead, we shouldn't just be accepting everything that happens in technology without, questioning it. And I think the lyrics overall elevate this track a bit higher, which I don't normally do that, but I don't know if I'm going to go back to ranking the entire song. Maybe I'll get back to that. But to be honest, I'd probably put this track in about A. I won't say like musically, it's not like my favorite. It's just, it's doing what's needed for the song. If you like this video, then please like and subscribe. And I do have a Patreon link at the bottom. So I hope to see you in the next video.